Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Plano Independent School District Sports Network. I'm Kevin Long, the judge. John Payton is in riding shotgun with us this evening, and we also are surrounded by a bunch of maroon, I guess you would say, Plano Wildcats in here this evening. And Judge, I guess looking at last weekend, was a pretty interesting weekend for the Plano ISD. Of course, Plano has a knockdown, drag-out battle, which unfortunately they came up 7 points short, but to a good team on the road. Plano West, Plano East really went to the mountain with each other, 4 overtimes. I don't know if we could handle a fifth.
Well, I'll tell you what, Kevin, just listening to what you guys were doing on the air made me want to jump out of the Suburban on my way home from Wimberley, Texas, and cheer because of how exciting the game was breaking down as it came down to the end there. And the 4 overtimes has almost got to be a record, I would think, between rivals when it comes to inter-city games being played. But, yeah, there was a lot of action in District 8-5A last week. Allen was struggling in their game in the first half. They were actually losing to Louisville, for goodness sakes. And so District 8-5A had a very interesting week last week, and it's going to be a very interesting week this week coming up.
Well, it certainly is, of course. Plano East not only gets Allen, they get him on national TV, so you talk about a little bit of pressure, having to deal with the number one team in the country on network TV.
Oh, absolutely. And, ESPN shoots these games on a fairly regular basis, these high school football games, and they have quite an audience that watches. I mean, you have a lot of college football coaches, Division I, Division II, NAIA, that'll watch these games to see who's playing. And, I think when we spoke with Coach Brent's, both sides of the ball are going to have several players go Division I college football, and I think Plano East is going to have on both sides of the ball several players that are going to have opportunities at Division I and Division II schools as well.
Tell you what, let's talk a little bit about Plano Wildcat football now. Now, to the judge's left is Sam Morrell, who's done a heck of a job running the football, well, an awful lot of things this year. To my right is Lance Lanier, who's a linebacker for the Plano Wildcats. And to his right is Bobby Geiber, who's a defensive end for the Plano Wildcats. I'll tell you what, Judge, why don't you start with Sam? Ask him a few questions about what it was like to return the opening kickoff against Allen almost all the way.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sam, let's talk about that. I mean, what a great way to start a game that ended up looking very lopsided. How did that feel? You got the kickoff. You guys are excited. You're at home. I mean, you had a packed capacity crowd. How'd you feel when you got that kickoff?
I mean, it was great. Like, I got the kickoff, and I just kept running. And, it was the same thing that happened last year against Allen. Got tackled at 19, but with no points. But it couldn't have started any better. Allen's side was quiet, and we were going crazy. We just needed to work on finishing. But the game couldn't have started any better. Maybe if I had scored on it, probably would have been better. But, that was a great start and a pretty exciting start.
Now, tell us about what it looks like. I mean, here's your visor, right? Here's the face mask and the helmet.
Yes,
and so you receive the ball down there deep. And Allen's a big team. I mean, they've got some big kids out there. What are you thinking when you catch the football down there at about, you're inside the 5-yard line?
Yes, sir. All thinking stops pretty much. You catch the ball and you just start running, and you just see a hole, you hit it, see another, and just keep going. There's really not too much thought process going through. You're just trying to get the most yards you can, and when you see something, you just got to take it.
Now, Sam, Coach McCullough has really focused in on using you in all different kinds of positions. What have you played so far this year on the varsity squad in games where tell us what positions you've played? I mean, because we were talking before the show, and it's a crazy amount of positions you already played.
Yes, sir. They've had me all over the board. I've been playing offense and defense. I've been getting some running back reps along with wide receiver, and then I'm also been starting at safety the last couple of games. So they're just moving me around, and they'll probably keep doing it. And I've been doing kick returner, and so they're just trying to get me in the spot that helps the team win. And so that's all I'm worried about. So
now, what about the confidence level? I mean, it seems like Coach McCullough and the coaches have a great deal of confidence in your abilities to be able to play you in those different types of positions. Do you kind of sense you're kind of a renaissance man?
I guess you could say that, but I mean, they've always switched me around from the time I was a sophomore till now. So I guess they prepared me for it. So it's something that's exciting, and it's always new every week. What am I going to be doing when I come out to practice on Monday?
So it's kind of a new day every week you come to practice. That's kind of exciting. Tell us about Flower Mound. Tell us about your preparation this week? You get done with Hebron. Saturday you're going over game film, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What have you guys been looking at, and what are you going to see come Friday night against Flower Mound?
We know that this is a big game. We've 0-2 in district, and that's definitely not the way we want to start, but we know that this is a must-win game, so we also know that Flower Mound's been looking for a win too because they're 0-2 in district also. And we know that Flower Mound's a great passing team, and they got us last year in the passing game and on offense, so this year we're working on slowing them down to limit big plays and also make plays on defense, set up scores for the offense. And offense, we're just keep playing to do what we've been doing, and with a few changes, and I think we stick to our game plan, we'll be just fine.
What kind of offensive sets are you going to be looking at with Flower Mound as you guys face them Friday night?
We're expecting a lot of spread and trips from them, along with a two-back formation occasionally. Like last week, I think they ran the ball 7 times, so we're going to be ready for their passing game. That's one of the main things we've been focusing on this week, and make them do something that they don't want to do.
So have you been doing a lot more reps in practice with the secondary then this week?
Yes, sir. I've been getting the same amount of reps on offense and defense, and I've been starting on defense, and so we've just been we did some changes to our defense, so we've just been working on that all week, just trying to find something that's going to work best against a good offense like Flower Mound.
Very good. Kevin?
I got one question. We need to talk to Sam a little bit about his college aspirations, because he really, really has an interesting, I guess, commitment lined up. Are you going to go to Wyoming, or?
I mean, I got the scholarship offer from Wyoming last week, and that's just how far I've been right now. I'm still got a big decision to make, and I've never visited Laramie before, so we're just going to see how things keep going, and hopefully, and my goal is to play college football, so I was going to keep seeing how it goes, and I don't know for sure yet what I'm going to be doing, but that's a good possibility.
Have you Googled Laramie yet?
Yes, sir. I've gotten a few things in the mail from him, too, so also I was looking through the website the other day, just seeing what it's like, and I've been to Wyoming before, but I've never been to Laramie itself.
It's wide open, beautiful country, Judge.
I
would think that'd be an interesting place to go. All right, I'll tell you what. Why don't we take this brief time out? When we return, we're going to be talking some more Plano Wildcat football. You're listening to the Plano Independent School District Sports Network. Well, welcome back to the Plano Independent School District Sports Network. I'm Kevin Long, the judge. John Payton in riding shotgun, as he always does, and we're going to talk a little bit more Plano Wildcat football now. To my far right over there is Bobby Geiber. He's the defensive end for the Wildcats, and sitting right next to me is Lance Lanier, who's a linebacker. And Bobby, I'm going to first ask you, Plano East has got to deal with an Allen team tomorrow. As we well know, that Allen team was ranked number 1 in the country, and deservedly so. I mean, they've got the cash and the credit to clear out the house. If you had to give Plano East any kind of advice, what kind of things would you tell them?
I guess I would tell them just to take advantage of the opportunity. I mean, because it's on national television, it's a huge game, and it's a great opportunity just to upset the best team in the nation, arguably, and I just wish them the best of luck.
When you guys played them, we're not going to say Allen doesn't have a football team, but it was one of those deals where everybody has a day they shouldn't even get out of bed. And for you guys, that was kind of it. A lot of things went wrong that night that could have gone another way. I mean, how do you leave feeling that game?
I mean, I guess you just have to realize that there's more district games after that. I mean, you just have to think about that that's only one game out of 7 in district, and you just really have to keep moving forward and focusing on the next game and then the next game after that, and hopefully make a run to the playoffs eventually.
All right, I'll tell you what, why don't we focus a little bit on things. Lance, got a big one coming up Friday against Flower Mound. How do you guys feel about that?
I think we've got a good defensive set against them. Like Sam said, they've run the ball 7 times against their last opponent last week, and we've got a good set, and I think we're ready to play them.
They come in a little misleading. They're 1-4, but I mean they played some good football games, and they've played them some good games.
Yes, sir.
Well, I mean, how do you assess that?
Well, I think that we can't take that their losses are shutouts or anything like that. So we got to take advantage of having that tenacity after our games of losing and put them into another win for us. Just take it one game at a time.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Sam. You guys start out a little bit. I should say, Bobby. You guys start out a little bit. 3-0, really with some high aspirations. Now you're in your kind of lull, where you're kind of, well, you've had 2 district losses, and then time to get that, you're a little bit up against the wall. Is there a feeling of urgency over there at Plano High?
I believe there is. I mean, especially with District 8-5A being such a competitive and talented district, I believe that every game is a must-win, and that there must be a sense of urgency, or else if we don't take action now and focus right now and go and win these next games, that we might not make the playoffs. And that's just how this district is. It's so competitive, and every team is very talented. You just got to go out there and play your best.
Okay, based on what you know about Flower Mound, what are some of the things that concern you the most?
Well, they're the number 1 passing team in DFW, averaging over 420 yards a game in the air. And that's really what our main concern has to be. I mean, they're very talented quarterback, receiving core. We just really got to watch out for all of them in the passing game.
Lance, another thing, too, though, you've already played a team ranked number 1 in the country.
Yes, sir.
I would think no matter who you play from this point, you're certainly not going to be intimidated by them thinking you're going to see some sort of football team like you've never seen before, because you've probably seen the best in America.
Sir, well, I mean, we can't look at any team and say we're going to beat them right off the bat. So I think it's best that we keep our heads and stay humble, and we stay strong as a team.
Of course, I can remember Plano having a rugged time 2 years ago and ended up losing, by 3 to Euless Trinity. And I think Trinity won the state that year, if I'm not mistaken, or they got to the finals. One of them, I think they actually won it, didn't they, that year? It was, a while back. But anyhow, what I'm getting at, you can lose badly to Allen, and that still doesn't mean you're a bad football team.
Absolutely. I mean, especially with a team that talented. I mean, there are other talented teams in 8-5A, but there's a great football team, and we know that we didn't play our best that game, and we just realized that we got to go out and play 6 more district games.
What about college next year? You been thinking about that at all, Bobby?
I mean, it just creeps up closer and closer. You got to think about it more as the year goes on, and hopefully I go somewhere for long snapping, but I'm really just starting to focus on that now.
Okay. How about you, Lance? Next year, would you like to be somewhere in college?
Well, me and Bobby are long snappers, and I'm Bobby's backup. Wherever it takes me, I'll go with it. But for now, I'm just playing my best for Plano.
Judge, you got any questions before we let these guys get out of here?
I have a couple questions for all 3 of them, actually, since they're all defensive players and they're all special teams players. And I think our audience needs to know, too, folks, these are the 3 team captains, by the way. I don't know if we've said that or not, but these are the 3 team captains for the Plano Wildcats. And, gentlemen, let's talk about that for a moment. I mean, your coaches, your players have a lot of faith in you to get out there and lead them onto the field. How does it feel to be the team captain for the Plano Wildcats? Bobby, let's start with you.
It's such a great honor. I mean, there's been so much tradition at Plano, and just to really be a captain and be a part of that is just really enlightening, and it really encourages you to make everyone on the team better. I mean, a better person and a better football player. It really just drives all 3 of us to work as hard as we can and just to lead by example on the field and in the classroom and in the weight room.
Lance, let's talk about that burden. I mean, being a team captain, you're not allowed on the field to lose your cool in a time when things are down. How do you respond, and how do you lead by example to your fellow teammates like an Allen game, where the chips are down, but you got to be on that field?
Right. Well, you just gotta keep your attitude up, and you know that everybody's attitude is down, and you gotta encourage them. And many times I just go up to the bench, slap some hands, and tell them to get their chins up, and say it's not down because no game's done until you quit. And so, being selected as a captain, we're voted for by our fellow peers. So they really do respect us, and they're going to take our words for what they mean. And I mean, I do see it. Encourage them on the sideline and tell them to get in there and get the game back. And sometimes it does work. And everyone gets fired up, and we get the ball back.